Hello all, Onigato for Oni in the Garden, and we're going to start over here at the raised bed where I've gone through and trained a lot of the cucumbers, the muskmelons, the squashes, and basically everything else that was long and vining up onto the back trellis, which is where I meant them to go in the first place. In the process, I basically denuded the center of the bed, which is all to the good because now stuff is starting to grow again and it's looking a lot better than it did. We lost the two crooknecks, I'm going to call them. That massive rainstorm that happened last week just took them both out. The larger of the two we harvested out, and it was tasty enough. Smaller, I tried seeing if it would maybe ripen on the vine. It ended up rotting directly on, just rotting on the vine itself. So the plant was dying, so I think it just cut the vegetation off, and then, the fruit actually just got infected with maggots. So it was not pleasant. But now the bed looks a lot better. I know I broke some of the stems, which is really bad, but let's see if you can spot it right there. There it is. Right finger there. That is a squash. Some sort of a round squash. I think it might be like an acorn or something. And there's some more in here somewhere. I saw some cucumbers as well. So, these plants are doing better now that I've got them spread up. A lot of the lettuces, they're still obviously throwing. They've bolted. They've all bolted. But if I get seed out of them, that's all to the better. Down at this end, things are looking a little bit better. The bush beans are producing very nicely. I'm going to go ahead and leave a couple of these pods. Like that one right there, that one right there, and that one right there. Leave those pods on specifically just so that I can get some seed for next season, which honestly will probably just be this fall. So, yeah. Here's the tomato. No actual sets, but you can see I've got about a half dozen flower spikes on there. I'm starting to see some chlorosis, so I'm going to give it another feeding of fertilizer. Tomatoes use a lot of fertilizer, unfortunately. So, these beans here are just not looking good. I think that one plant in the back is completely leafless now, so I'm going to just let that pod ripen on the vine as much as it will, and then I'll harvest it for the seeds. The cilantro is starting to bolt itself. It just is too hot for some of these things here, so yeah. The basil is dying, and I don't know what's happened to it. I really don't. Something about that soil is just not playing nicely with anything except for those strawberries. Could be too acidic, could be too basic. Alright, over here, my bells. Still not seeing any actual flower starts or fruits, but I'm starting to see some things again that could try to turn into flower starts. And if they turn into flower starts, they could turn into fruits. Should be nice. Both sets of strawberries over here. They're no longer flowering or fruiting. But, you know, c'est la vie. The oregano, it shields the potatoes a little bit, but the potatoes are definitely starting to get too hot. Top growth is doing okay. Lower growth is getting a little wilty and looks like it might have some sort of a deficiency. I need to check my books to see what kind that might be. So, not doing great. Over here, the marigolds, here, and here, they're bouncing back. The neem and BT is definitely having a really, really good effect. And then over here is the apple tree. And you can see no signs of aphids. I haven't had to spray but just once a week now for a little while. These are all mature leaves though, so I'm not too surprised by that. It's not putting a lot of growth this year. Maybe another 3 or 4 inches. But that's okay with me. I'd rather have a strong, healthy tree than a fast-growing tree. Other than that, I do need to mow. But I've lost the blueberries entirely. The spiderworts are obviously all dying back because it's, you know, later in the season. I do have plenty of bees coming by on a regular basis just to visit the different flower pods that are happening in here in the raised bed. So I am getting... Oh, let's see how well that shows up on the screen there. Right there. That looks like a cucumber. Sweet. Very sweet. So they're on there. They're in there in various places. And got some definite growth going on in there. When I sprayed everything down with the BT, it was really quite effective. And I enjoyed the results immensely. It dissolved caterpillars. I mean, I would find smears of goo that used to be a caterpillar. So the stuff really works. And it works really fast. But, yeah, other than that, we're basically in a holding pattern for right now. Talk to y'all later.